So I'm doing something a little bit different just because this was scheduled. I don't know how many people saw, like, I went live the other night for the full moon and I kept messing up and thinking that I was supposed to be going live the next night and it was actually tonight, but then I did go live last night, so um, I wouldn't have lied to people, and I told people that I'm going live now. And so I was on for 3 hours last night, and then today I did a live at 5 with my Patreon people, and now I'm coming in here. I'm going to do a synchronicity oracle instead of more. Like, I don't have a lot of energy to do a whole bunch more readings because I've been doing a lot of them for like the last couple of days. So I have my synchronicity oracle here. And if you come in while I'm live, hello, you can listen to these messages and take what resonates, leave the rest, or if you watch the playback later, you can take the messages. But yeah, I'm just here to kind of, like, you know, not lie. Like, it sucks when you have a lot of people on a platform and you say something at one time, like I do. Like, I assume, like, okay, everybody knows that now, but I know that they don't. I need to get better at, like, passing the message along more than once with things, because this week got all discombobulated. But I have been getting a lot of signs from Spirit to do more lives, in specifically on TikTok. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, I probably, like, if you want readings and stuff, I'm going to be doing some lives over there. It's at Divine Essentials. It's all one word, and there is 2 E's and an S for that one. And I have like 20,000 people over there, so I know there's fake ones, but that will be the way to know that it's me. And I will be doing some lives over there. I think when I do lives over there, I'm going to just do, like, send a swan. I had to look into the swans and how much the swans are. There's all different gifts, and people send random gifts, but I'm like, how do you know how much that gift is worth? How do you know how much money people are sending you, so that you know, like, how much of a reading to give, like, how much time to give? So I looked into that, and the swans are, like, equal to, like, $5. So those people will take precedence over there. I've been getting it in my mind. So I'm cleansing the energy. We're doing some little synchronicity. Yes, don't overdo it with the readings because it can get heavy. Yes, I know. I was on here for 3 hours last night, and then I did a 2-hour live earlier today with the Patreon people. It was a live like this, but only for 3 of them, so they got, like, more specific stuff. But we used the synchronicity oracle, and there was tons of synchronicity within it. Even things that I was talking about at the very beginning, throughout the whole thing, I would say something, and then it would come through the synchronicity oracle. So I was like, I'll just use that to do, like, a reading for everybody instead of trying to do many more hours of readings. Hello. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. I haunted by 222 yesterday. Hello. The 222 is good for, like, partnerships, manifestation, the progression of things in your life. But it's also up to you too. Like, what do you perceive to be connected to? To 22. And then, like, what were you thinking about when you're seeing it? You know, trust your intuition. Do you do readings for all your Patreon tiers? So on Patreon, the first level gets a reading for the month. It's like an overview that everybody can see. And then I also do, like, extra things in there, like out of the tarot workbook and stuff. Like, I'll post a prompt one day and, you know, encourage people to do their own reading with that prompt. And then I'll do a reading to back up, like, that prompt and to give more messages surrounding it. So they all get to see that too. Then the 555 tier is the $5 one. They get a lot more readings. They get, like, the Wisdom Wednesdays, they get the Freaky Fridays, they get the Mystic Monthly, they get the Starseed Saturdays, they get the Freaky Fridays, Twin Flame Tuesdays, and I spread them out. Like, I don't do every single day. I don't do that every week, but I spread them out so that there's, like, at least 2 of them a month coming through, plus the extra posts that go in there. And then on the 1111 tier, that's when they start getting the rituals. I'm going to be doing the crystal quartz extraction for those people. And then on the 20th, I'm going to be doing a ritual to harness all this chaotic energy for our benefit. And then the $22 tier is they get, like, the lives with me. So there's 2 lives that I'm doing for the $22 tier a month. The first, like, 1 week it will be through Google Meet, so we can talk face to face, and 1 week it will be on an unlisted YouTube video so that they can just type, because not everybody's comfortable being on camera, not everybody's comfortable having their voice heard. And there's 3 different people that are available to come to it, but they're on different timelines too. So I do one at 5 p.m. and one at 9 p.m. And I will alternate. Like one month it will be 5 p.m. for the Google Meet, and one month it'll be 5 p.m. for the unlisted YouTube, and vice versa. And then the $55 tier, those people get a private reading every single month, like on the dot, and access to everything else that's in there. And then the other ones above that are for more like learning how to do tarot, learning all of the different things that I teach. But yes, that's what they get over there. I think it's worth it. For $5.55, you get a lot of readings. Like, I did like an hour-long Freaky Friday. Most of the readings are like 15, 20 minutes. But they all seem very happy with it, so that's good. But what we're doing right now is synchronicity for all of you guys. And the way that you do it, like there's a specific way to do it. Earlier, I was kind of just intuitively doing it. But you make like a thing. See how this is? You pull 6 of these and then a 7th in the center. So you get like this. And the first 2 are for the past, the second 2 are for the future, and the other 2 are for the past, the present, the future. And then the 7th one, my brain hasn't been working today either. The 7th one is to see like what the correlation or the synchronicity is within all of them. And all of the cards have tons of things on them. So there's a lot of ways that this can go. But at first I didn't really like the deck. I was like, oh, like I would have done it differently. But then as I started using it and seeing how dead on it is with stuff, I was like, oh, okay. It doesn't really matter. I think it's kind of hard to have so many symbols and make it look good. Like my artistic eye is like, ooh, I don't like that. Even this, I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. But I do like the idea of a synchronicity oracle. So for the first 2 cards, they're going to represent the past energy. You look for the one that is like repeating. Sometimes you get them and they don't repeat. And in those times, I just like intuitively let myself feel like which one is important. Like I did a reading for someone earlier with this deck, and I was immediately drawn to the people that are back to back. They're like skeletons back to back. And then the next one, for that person, was 2 people face to face with like the chakras activated and all of that. And those messages were like very dead on for what was going on and like the things in their energy. But it's weird. It's a weird way. So for the past, we have 2 of these stars, and they're both big. Sometimes the symbols are big and small. See, like for over here, the 2 stars are different sizes. But I do feel like the stars are significant. So then we go and we find where's the star or the pentagram. And it's for health, elements, occult awareness, good versus evil. So that is influencing the past. And on page 39, it says, the pentagram is a 5-pointed star and an ancient symbol used in Sumerian scripts and later by the secretive Pythagoreans as a symbol for health. In Christianity, it has been used to refer to the 5 wounds of Jesus or to the 5 senses. It is also used as a symbol for the Baha'i and Druze faiths. In traditional Chinese medicine, the pentagram symbolizes the 5 elements of fire, earth, metal, wood, and water. And occultists have linked the pentagram to King Solomon. It is popular among modern Wiccans and pagans, and some interpret its orientation as either good, single point upward, or evil, 2 points upward, like the horns of a goat. The Freemasons and the Thelemites have also incorporated the pentagram into their symbolism. So for this, it says, most of us tend to believe that we are good people, but what does this really mean? Are you true to yourself? What energy does your life force give out to the world around you? Imagine yourself drawing a pentagram with a piece of chalk on the middle of a path. You circumscribe the pentagram in a circle. The next day, you return to find that the rain has smudged the pentagram and there is only a small trace of it left. You become aware that even when the pentagram disappears, you still have a memory of it, and its energetic residue will always remain. So I feel like with this, it's like in the past, we may be needing to like look at what our idea of is good, and are we being true to ourselves, and are like, okay, so this came up earlier too, because I was talking about like all of the corruptness in the world and the things that are going on, and like the people not being able to voice their opinions, and like we're getting sensitized, like you can't say this, you can't do that, blah, 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 on so many levels. And I was like, well, maybe we can use their things against them, like their symbolism, like because there's certain ways to talk to people. There's certain ways to manipulate people. There's subliminal programming. There's so many things that are out there that they do that are, and I was just listening to something, a woman, BJ Investigates, she was talking about the P. Diddy, like what they're indicting him on. And in that, there was a comment, someone said it was like Project Bluebeam, blah, 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 all the stuff that like the CIA and all those people have used to like manipulate and torture and mind control people. And so I had been saying earlier, like, well, maybe we can use use it to our advantage. All those people that are asleep and easily influenced by that shit, and they follow along and they do what they're told. Maybe if we start using those tactics ourselves to get them to come to our side. But I was like, but that's just as evil. We're still going against people's free will. We're not allowing, like, they're doing things that aren't good, and they may think that it's good. They may think that what they're doing is actually the right thing to do. Like, I'm sure the people who are for lowering the population, harming people in the ways that they do, they might rationalize it in their mind or think that they're doing something good while they're doing it. Well, we're protecting the earth. We're helping with the pollution. Who knows what they're thinking? But they're still doing it in manipulative ways. And what I was saying, I was like, well, but it would be good to like use that power for helping them to come out of that and to see the truth. But it's still manipulative. It's still not the right thing to do. So I think it's basically just thinking in terms of that, like, thinking like making sure that you're not projecting things onto people. Just like there was a little thing that I read out of here earlier. When missionaries go to help people in other places that maybe are underdeveloped and stuff, they always want to bring like, oh, here's some food and here's some cool stuff, but here's our Jesus Christ Bible, and you've got to like live by this or you're going to go to hell, and try to convert them and mess with everything that they've known their whole lives and try to tell them that it's wrong and it's bad. But like, that's wrong and bad. They don't think it's wrong and bad, but it's wrong and bad for them to do that. So I feel like that's what's kind of speaking here, is just being aware of those things that are in this world and trying to see from both perspectives, and also checking yourself to make sure that you're not practicing those ways. Because sometimes we feel so like, oh, but I'm right, and like this is the right thing to do and that's the wrong thing, and we like get really strong in our convictions about that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it is the right thing to do or that it's even good. So that energy is there for the past, but that's not all. Those two came through for the future as well. So I feel like it is something that's cycling, which right now, that's been a recurrent energy with this chaos, with the eclipse, cycles closing. I did the reading earlier. The sirens came right after I was talking about the sirens. I had talked about the sirens in the September's monthly thing. I said that. I was like, I feel like 911 is very important this month. Like, a 911, pay attention, emergency, sirens. And as I was talking and mentioning that, sirens showed up again outside. And then a little while later, I was listening to something specific, and more sirens were going on out there. I don't usually hear sirens. I'm out in the middle of nowhere here. Like, there's all bogs. But I keep hearing sirens. I got pulled over the other night, which I finally was like, oh, and the lady, when she pulled me over, she's like, you're right on the line. I was too close to the line. It was a warning. She gave me a warning for being too close to the white line. I wasn't speeding. I wasn't swerving. I wasn't doing anything wrong. But today it hit me. I was like, maybe I'm right on the line of something that that they're warning me. Like, I need to pull myself back. Like, I'm almost too far over. I'm overstepping, thinking that I'm in the right or that I'm doing good. But I need to check myself before I wreck myself. So we want to look for the symbolism within that too, and the synchronicities that are coming through in that, which it's just like an ever expanding thing. So that is for the past. And then for the present, we got Kernanis, my boyfriend. Kernanis is my boyfriend. I always say that because he came here one year and he left me a bunch of weed pipes. What are those? The ghost pipes. They're like a plant. See Kernanis with his little flute and his horn. Okay, so like one year, a horn was out there. My dad found it was like a wrapped horn like that. He brought it in. I don't know where the fuck it went. I do not know where the fuck it went. I feel like someone fucking took it. I really do, because it's gone. It was in our kitchen and now it's gone. But he came, left the horn, and then a few days later there was all these ghost pipes out there, which are weird, like these plants that they're like mummy plants. They eat all the other plants. They don't have any chlorophyll, so they're like see-through white. And they're very rare, but they, like, the Native Americans use them for like medicinal purposes. They're very healing, like almost like a natural Tylenol. But I can't remember all of the synchronicity and the chaos and the bullshit that was ensuing at that time, but it was very much connected to Cernunnos, and I kept getting a lot of signs with him. And then I realized that in one of my decks, it was like, oh, Cernunnos and the goddess Bridget, or Saint Bridget, are twin flames. And I was like, what the hell is she doing with this guy? Like, why? Like, he's not even a dude, but he's also like the first man. All right, so Cernunnos is here for our present, and I don't even know if I said that right, if I said present, but I mean present. Today my brain has not been at its full function. That's why, again, I'm not doing live readings for everybody right now, because it's just brain's fried. So mischief, spontaneity, fertility, spring, and panic. And again, Saint Bridget, or Goddess Bridget, she's one and the same. She's also about fertility in spring. They are both associated with that time, you know, like things coming into fruition. He was like the first man. Some people say she was like the first lady, but I think that's why they get associated with each other. But it is just kind of weird to me. I'm like, why would she be with him? He's got like horns and hoofs. How would you be with him? Like, I don't know, I guess it could work. So mischief, spontaneity, fertility, spring, and panic. In ancient Greek mythology, Pan was the god of the wilderness, improvised music, shepherds, and nymphs. And a trickster by nature, Pan is known for his great strength and is often associated with sex, fertility, and the spring. The word panic comes from his name because the Greeks believed that when Pan was accidentally woken while napping in a field, he would shout and cause the flocks to stampede, creating a sense of sudden fear and panic. I said Cernunnos, but Pan is Cernunnos for me. They are the same. It's just how that is. We were talking about that earlier too, because like there's certain things from like ancient Egypt, like Thoth or Thoth, he becomes Hermes in the Greek and all the Roman, you know, like there's so many that have just been repeated over and over. Reflection. Have you allowed yourself to act spontaneously recently? How about playing a prank on someone or setting up a date in the near future to do something creative that challenges your boundaries and inhibitions? When no one is around, break into a spontaneous song. I already do that. Make up your own lyrics. I do that too. And release all the pent-up energy inside you. Be silly and authentic. So it may be a time, and this message came through strongly last night from more than one person about that, like tapping into your inner child, going outside. Thank you, Paloma. How are you? And meeting new people and having fun. And I know, like, the people with the twin flame stuff, a lot of times they're like, I don't even want to talk to anybody, but you don't have to go date romantically to go out and have a good time. And you might be surprised to go out and have a good time, or to meet people who are treating you with kindness and respect and communication, and the things that you are lacking and making you sad. It might shift your energy and help you to receive the things that haven't been available. And it might change your perspective about allowing new people in. And it is hard too. I get it, because like I've been burned by so many people that it gets to the point where it's like I don't want to hang out with anybody, because I don't know where it's like what's gonna happen. I don't know if you're gonna be nice to me, or you're gonna pretend to be nice to me, or you're just gonna randomly hate me at some point, or you're gonna like hold things against me, or you're gonna use me. Like, I get it, but we can be spontaneous and just go do random fun stuff, and it doesn't have to be committed to or expecting of. And I keep having that message come up too. Like, when we expect bad things to happen, we often attract those bad things to happen. We create those things. Last night, at the end of this, I kept looking over there. Because I had been on for so long, and I knew they were getting like, eh. And whenever Sirius gets mad at me, he pees on my bed. And I was like, I just don't want him to pee on the bed. I just don't want him to. And he ended up peeing on the bed. When I got off of here, I was like, what the fuck? Because I had just put new blankets on it. But it was like I willed it to happen, because I kept expecting it to happen. I didn't want it to happen, and that energy within me manifested it happening more. When I don't think about it, when I'm not like, oh, I hope he doesn't, like, he doesn't. But when I like let it get in there at all, it manifests. So when we're meeting new people or going out and having fun with others, or we want to do that, but we're afraid that they might turn on us, or we go into new connections with people expecting them to do what others have done, we might behave in a way or do certain things that lead to that, or that we just see within them that might not even be there, because we're like, oh, we might panic, right? We might do things that cause us that issue. So we want to be mindful of that. Be mindful. Ever since that stupid thing now, I'm like, oh man, mindful is stuck in my head too much. So for the future one, we had the stars again, which is weird. Like, okay. But I think it's also just like saying what we've already learned here with the pentagram is like, don't allow yourself to think that you have the only answer. Don't allow yourself to project onto others. Don't repeat things of the past. Maybe you've done that in the past, thinking you were doing the right thing, or you're on the right path, or you were only helping somebody. I just saw something from somebody that was like, and I get it, because I've been there. I know what she's talking about. Like, she's all upset right now because somebody's been like doxing her online and bashing her and doing things that aren't cool. But prior to that, she had been trying to help this person to grow and expand and do new things. And then that person turned against them and is like trying to be a victim of them and be like, oh, but they did, and it's becoming a big problem between them. And now it's like socially out there, and like all these other people are hearing about it. So I feel like both people are wrong in that situation, because like when those types of things happen to me, I try to not put too much energy on it. I try not to bring a whole bunch. Like, I think that the person that I saw talking about it is trying to clear their name, but they don't need to do that, you know? And again, they both played a part. Sometimes we deal with people in our lives that are like that. They have a problem for every solution. Like, she was trying to support this person, help this person to change their life that they were constantly complaining about, and boop. And wouldn't it turn out that that person ends up being a thorn in their side because they're trying to blame them for the things that aren't working out? But it's like, it's obviously a manifestation of their own bullshit. There's people out there that have a problem for every solution that you offer. There's people out there that will shoot down everything that you try to offer, but they also won't stop asking you for what you would do or help and support in those things. So we're just as much to blame in those circumstances when we keep entertaining those people. Even though we know that they're draining us and that they're not listening and they're not changing and they're not taking it to consideration, and that they just keep repeating shit, they're not getting better, and they're sabotaging everything in their life. Like, those are the red flags to be like, okay, stop entertaining this. Stop trying to help this person, because they're not trying to help themselves. So that you can avoid the big boom later when they're trying to blame you for everything that's going on now, or, you know, victimized bullshit. And I feel like that's just like one example of where this can happen. Sometimes we get ourselves in circumstances with people that are just like, you know, yes, be mindful, be demure. Sometimes we need to catch those red flags and make sure that we don't do something like, because it's nice to help people. It's nice to offer support to people if someone's struggling. It's nice to do those things. So you think you're doing the good thing. But over time, you're going to start to see that those people aren't taking that advice. They're not moving forward. They're sabotaging everything left and right. So it's silly to stay there and continue to waste your time and energy in that. And I've been on that like that side of being like, oh, I keep helping you, and then complaining about it because they're not changing it, and then that perpetuates more bullshit, because now I'm complaining about this person and bringing my vibration down rather than just disconnecting from them and not even entertaining it. And then now even going further from that and like bringing more people into it, and it just gets chaotic. So we want to be mindful of that type of stuff right now and in the future, and looking at what we've done in the past and how we can break free in the future. And then, so for this card, this is the center card. This one, we look for the ones that it connects with on the others. And the boop. This one has this like bubbly thing. See the bubbly thing? I don't know what it's called. I gotta look at it. They start taking, oh yes, they definitely take you for granted, and they like make you the bad guy, or I feel like a lot of covert narcissists are like that. They want to be the victim forever, and then everything, like they keep coming to you for your help and support and advice because you keep giving it to them, but they keep shooting it down and basically like blowing you under the, like they say shit to you that's messed up. I used to have a person that would get readings from me like all the time. Anything I put out there, they would purchase and be like the first one in line for every motherfucking thing that I did, which would seem like, oh, they're very supportive, they really like you, and whatever. But over time, I started realizing like every reading there was a problem. Every reading, like oh my god, it was like they would have a fucking mental breakdown about what was in the reading, and I would have to spend like 3 more hours trying to console this person, wasting my time and energy just for them to repeat the same thing over and over. I was like, if you're not, and they weren't getting any better, and they would do things to me and like bash me behind the scenes, but in front of other people would act totally differently. And I've had that in my life to various degrees with different people of it. So it's like, it's okay. I don't want to repeat that. I don't want to have those people come back into my life. I've learned to then leave them alone. Yeah, because they will just bring you down. And it's like, you will start to see very quickly that it's just, there's no use to try sometimes. You might feel like you're doing the right thing or a good thing, but you're actually doing a bad thing by entertaining those. So this is a boiling flask, and it's about alchemy, water, transmutation, catalyst, and elusiveness. And it's number 7. Boop-a-da-bop. So, self-imposed illusion of grandeur, and then when you don't put them on the pedestal, they turn into the poor me victim mindset. Yes. And it's crazy. I used to struggle a lot trying to figure it out too, because I'm like I could feel that the person didn't really like me, and that they were like being mean to me, but they were doing it so covertly that I was like, what is going on here? But they were also slowly over time turning into me and doing all of the things that I've done in my life. Not just like taking on little bits and pieces, like, oh, you read cards, now I read cards. Oh, you have crystals, now I have crystals. Like going way back and like following the exact same path. And I was like, wait a minute, this is getting too weird. And that was confusing too, because I'm like, if you're like, you obviously don't really like me, but then you're like trying to do everything that I've done or do. And I feel like what it is that they like how other people respond to you. They want what you're able to have with others, but they don't necessarily like you. They're just trying to take from you to put towards that so they can get that energy. And that's why they keep asking you for like advice and things. Like they want to do what you do or have what you have or gain what you've gained, but they don't actually want to do any of the stuff that is included in that. Like they don't listen to the advice, they don't apply the advice, they just kind of haphazardly throw it all together and mimic, and then secretly hate you while trying to be like you. And it's very weird, because I've had that problem a lot in my life when I was a kid too, like other people just copying me in weird ways, and I finally got over that. I'm like, whatever, imitation is a form of flattery, but it's really not. It's weird, but I don't let it bother me like I used to. My sister still gets pissed off because people do it to her, but I think it's just one of those things. And it's like, I don't think anybody should do that with anybody. I don't think anybody should be trying to take on other people's ways of being, because it's inauthentic. That's why it won't work for you, because you're not me. So do your own thing that makes sense for you. But with this one, it says the boiling flask has several elements, including fire, boiling water, air, in a glass container, which is interesting because these ones have come through twice tonight. So we're seeing a lot of things to do with the elements. And thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I feel like it's hard to talk about it too. That's why it's so covert, because it's like you don't want to talk about it. Because you sound like the weirdo. You sound like an asshole. They just kind of want to be like me. But it's like very clearly that's what they're fucking doing. Like over time you can see the pattern of them doing everything you fucking do, but at the same time bashing you as you do what you do, but still wanting you to tell them how you did what you did. And it's just a very, very manipulative thing, and it does mind fuck you. But when you want to go tell someone else about it, it's so hard because there's no like outside proof, you know, but you can probably, like, I could prove things. I could show people messages and stuff that people have said to me, or hours upon hours of time that was spent like that, but I wouldn't do that. But it's just weird. It's a very weird position to be, to talk about that type of stuff, because it feels like you're trying to be like full of yourself. Oh, but they just wanted to be like me. No, they were really trying to do that. I didn't ask for it. I don't like it. But again, with the elements, that's a synchronicity that's been heavy today. I also had someone ask me today about the Monika rights. Like they had gotten some of the Monika rights a long time ago by a person, but that person didn't like fully give it to them, so they didn't feel like they really received it, and they wanted to know if like meditating could help them to get those bands of power active. And I was like, well, the bands of power connect to the 5 elements. You can use a meditation, but that person has nothing to do with like the activation of it or the transferring of the seeds. Spirit takes care of that. So if it was intended for that, it has been planted, the seeds of potential for that Monika, right? But in order to strengthen it, you'd want to go out and connect to the elements, like the earth and the water and the fire, because all of those seeds connect to a different protection band around you, and those elements strengthen you. So I feel like that's a big heavy energy right now for us, is to use the environment around us, like the different elements, to use fire, to use water. Boop-a-da-boop. While boiling water on its own can symbolize trouble and challenges, the fact that it is contained within the controlled environment of the flask implies that you are in control of your own transformation. Flasks such as these are used in alchemy and in modern chemistry and can create new elements and catalysts for change. Alchemists tried to transmute metals into gold or create a philosopher's stone that could serve as an elixir for life. They may have missed the idea that the ultimate philosopher's stone was the path to enlightenment rather than to material gain. Most of us feel stuck in a rut at some point in life, and sometimes we need to transform ourselves personally to progress. What transformation, if any, are you currently undergoing, and is there a particular transformation you would like to initiate in your life? So we want to be taking the things out of our life, taking the things that are in our life and using them to transmute. They bash you and try and get you to doubt yourself, then they can slide in and take your place. Yes, there's a lot of that. A lot of that goes on. And it's so weird and confusing. Like I said last night, I was like, a lot of us who go through that stuff is because we're genuinely caring people, and we actually care about those people. We want to help those people. And we stay way too long dealing with it because we don't realize that they're doing that on their side, that they have like bad intentions. But that's something too that we're transmuting right now. And we can use the elements in our favor. We can use the energy of alchemy. You know, when those people are sending their hate daggers at us, or when they're trying to play those games, or they're trying to, you know, bash us and be a victim to other people, just take that energy and transmute it. And also know that over time, the truth will be revealed and everybody's true colors is coming out. And this year, that's definitely happening. I keep seeing people in the comments of stuff, like anything to do with the Diddy stuff, is like, Cat Williams was right. Selfless to a fault at times, yes. But again, that kind of ties into, do you think you're good, and is it actually bad? Because that came through last night about the, what's his name, altruism. Being altruistic can be a downfall for you if you are giving to your own demise. If you're trying to bring peace to everybody else, you may end up really harming yourself and putting your own needs last and not getting what you need out of life. And we got to have better boundaries. We got to have better self-respect, and not be the doormat, or thinking like, oh, but I'm just so nice, because that's not very nice of ourselves. We're not being nice to us. So imagine that you are boiling water filled with bark, berries, roots, and various leaves to create a love potion. As you stir the mixture and add the items, you are confident that a dash of each ingredient will increase the potency of your tincture. After your concoction has cooled down, and just before you taste it, you realize that the act of making your potion, you have learned to love yourself. So take out some time to do some meditation and do some visualizations around that. Visualization is strong for your subconscious, and it can help to like bring in the transformation that you need. You can also do it in terms of like other ways of like imagining the water washing away all of that residue, or washing away the parts of you that have put you into that place of being somebody that attracts people like that, or allows people to keep doing those types of things, so that the past doesn't show up again in the future, so that we can keep the past in the past and we can invite in a better outcome, and using all the elements that are around us for that alchemy. And also realizing that like the material shit isn't necessarily important. You can do just as much magic in your mind without the tools as you can with all of the money and gold and things in the world. It definitely helps to put love into you, food and drink as you prepare it. Yep, that's something like, I remember the new paradigm, they talk about, what is his name? Dr. Emoto. He's the guy, like he did the water samples, like little drops of water, and he froze them but he would like take a cup of water and be like love, or a cup of water and be like hate. When he'd take the water out of each one and flash freeze it, the one that was about love would look like a snowflake under the microscope, and the one that said hate would look like polluted water. And if you compared it to like beautiful, pure, like water from Alaska or whatever, compared to polluted water from some like dirty puddle, it would mirror those types of things. And that's the same within your body. You have so much water in your body. If you're telling yourself negative things, you're going to look polluted within. You're like, your water is going to get polluted. Your energy is going to be depleted. Same thing with plants and shit. He did it with rice. It was like love on this rice and hate on this rice. And this rice would stay fresher longer. And this one would get all moldy and nasty. Yeah, Dr. Emoto, something like that. He's I think it's a Japanese water experiment guy. If you just Google like the water experiment, it might come up. I think it's Dr. Emoto. Do we have another eclipse coming up after this Pisces eclipse? I'm not sure. I didn't even like know, like I follow astrology a little bit, but not like that big. I kind of just, it's always weird though, because it's like all the stuff that I start feeling before I find out about it being here or making sense for the stuff that I'm feeling, it always correlates. So I've never really gotten into like knowing exactly what's happening and when with that, but I do find that I pick up on the energies before it's like cemented. That's why I made this deck, to help myself to learn more about astrology, because it's one thing that I've really, like, I know my own stuff, I know the basics, and I've learned some more like advanced things about it since the very beginning. Because I remember, like, I used to be so overwhelmed, like when they talk about, oh, but this is in your 7th house and this is in the boopity boop and the boopity beep. Foreign language to me. I'm still like sextile, trine, opposition, like I'm still figuring all that stuff out. But this deck has really helped me to kind of like figure out like what the houses mean and what each individual sign really connects with, and the planets that connect with those signs. And then this says chaos or creation. How you choose to live will be what you get to see. Divine and aligned, or a chaotic state of mind. Chaos or creation. This is so fucking perfect for everything. This is synchronicity. This is everything I've been talking about for like the last 3 days. I'm like, the eclipse brings chaos, and it eclipses out the chaos, and the chaos, and there's so much chaos. Chaos, chaos, chaos. Chaos came through earlier in this deck too. It was like very synchronistic, and more of the, so much shit was happening. But like I've been saying, what we focus on, what we think about, what we feel is what we manifest. So if you are thinking very chaotically, or you are in fears or doubts, you might see a lot more of that. But you can have a divine and aligned energy and bring in better things for your resources and your like network. So we have the 2nd house and 11th house that came through with that. And the 2nd house is I have resources. It's connected to Taurus and Venus. It's for stability, your environment, and your self-worth, because those things tie together. Your self-worth will determine what you receive in your abundance, and like what you have around you to support you on the terms of like the physical material, and also on the terms of like emotional and romantic and friendship and all of that. So if like we're not placing enough value on us, we might attract in some covert narcissists that also aren't going to value us and take advantage of us. So we might be inviting that chaos in. We may be thinking we're doing the right things, but in actuality, we're actually harming ourselves and possibly others, because we would be in better service to be valuing ourselves and having more stability and able to ripple out to that environment around us. And with the 11th house, it says I aspire with teams, networks, rebel, and invention, with Aquarius and Uranus. So we can build the right community around us, and we can rebel against the bullshit, like I was talking about earlier, without the manipulative tactics, without doing what the other people have done, without becoming bad to fight the bad. And also just becoming more like inventive with how we're going to network with each other and how we're going to change things, how we aspire to find our resources and create within this reality. But that was very synchronistic and crazy. But I really do like this deck. It helped me a lot. Not all of them have to do with like the astrology specifically. There's a lot of other cards in here that just have messages, but I feel like they always align very well. But like all the planets are in here, all of the houses are in here, and all of the zodiac signs are in here. And it does help me to know a little bit more about each person. So like Taurus is reliable. grounded and determined. And Taurus connects with the energy of Venus. And then the second house, which we get better at learning as we figure that out. All right, so boop-a-da-boop. That was that one. Now for this one, what did I miss? I am learning too. Yeah, I have terrible insomnia since the eclipse. I'm sorry. Maybe there was something... Maybe there's something in the subconscious that needs to come to light. Maybe there's maybe meditation could help, or like a hypnosis could help you to clear out whatever's in there, or fall asleep. Sometimes I don't sleep either. Sometimes I sleep way too much, and other times I don't get to sleep at all. All right, so for this one, I think okay, wait, boop. Which one was it going to be? I think it was going to be the lotus flower, okay? So there's a lotus flower for the second pile, which is about the present, but this is just correlating to that. This is another synchronicity that we're going to take from the messages. So, ba-ba-dee-dee-da. The lotus is about beauty, spirituality, purity, flourishing, and stultification, and that's number 30. And it says... The lotus flower, also known as the sacred lotus and Nulembo nucifera, symbolizes rebirth, beauty, spirituality, fertility, and purity. Despite the fact that it grows in the mud without much light, it eventually transforms into a beautiful flower that captures lots of light. It is also a metaphor for the idea that we all have potential to flourish and become enlightened. The seeds can last for a long time. I just was talking about the seeds. Which the oldest recorded germination from 1,300-year-old seeds, which is why the lotus is also a symbol for longevity. Okay, so again, more synchronicities. It says, love can grow even in the darkest places. Can you recall one of the most challenging emotional periods in your life? Congratulate yourself for overcoming that period and for growing past it and loving yourself enough to do that. I can remember some really difficult times and getting out of them. So acknowledge that you've already been a lotus in your life, and you might have to rise through things again in the future, but you have that beauty and that longevity to do so. Imagine yourself floating in warm water on a sunny day in a beautiful sea. The sun's rays are reflected by the water, and you can feel them warming your exposed skin. You feel energized, purified, and uplifted. And again, more elements, more water, more light. It's like we're combining these things to help us at this time. And then, boppity-beep-bop. Okay, the DNA helix. Earlier today I saw this one. And I was like, ew, maybe it's DNA or maybe the helix. And then I opened it up and it says both for that one. I don't remember which number it is, but I was like, oh my God. DNA alpha helix is 16. It's for building block, genetics, creation, symmetry, and structure. And then there's one more after that too. Doop-a-da-beep, 16. Did I miss one? No, I didn't miss one. Why is that sticking? I feel like I might have to take one more after that. And that's what happens with this deck. There's so many symbols there. Sometimes it's like there's one that you just are meant to take. All right, so 16. Boop. DNA is the building block of life. Since DNA was first discovered in 1869, we've come a long way. Discoveries include its double helix structure via the X-rays in 1952, and that there are only 4 types of nucleotides, A, T, C, and G. Remarkably, the genetic makeup of humans is not that far off from that of yeast. Most of our cells are constantly dying and being replaced. Red blood cells live for about 4 months, while white blood cells can last a year. Skin cells live for about 3 weeks, and sperm cells only last 3 days. But our brain cells typically last an entire lifetime. So building blocks are necessary in any enterprise, whether it be literally when constructing a wall or figuratively when starting a business. What would you like to create or build upon in your life? What can you do this week to move in the right direction? Imagine the cells in your body glowing and vibrating. Feel the heat that is being generated in your palms and in your lower back, the outside of your ears, the tips of your toes, and imagine that you can see and feel the life force flowing around your body. You are energized knowing that your body is ready for your next challenge. So at this time, again, I feel like we are letting go of things. We're being called into the next cycle or the next chapter, and we can structure things in a healthier way. We can recognize what we've, done in the past so that we don't create more chaos. So we can take that chaos, transmute it with the alchemy that is necessary to heal and to grow and to expand. And this one is like the tree of life. Like, can you see it? Tree of life, I think, or the Kabbalah. I don't know what they're going to call it. Oh my goodness, it says Kabbalah Tree of Life. That's what happened earlier with the DNA helix thing. I was like, I don't know if they're going to call it DNA or helix, and then it was both. And right now, I'm like, Kabbalah, blah, 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 blah. And it's the number 27, so it's more synchronicity. And it says transcendence, divine knowledge, growth, and concealment. So let's see what that is. Oh, I opened right up to it. Right up to it. So I feel like it's significant. And it's divine knowledge. The 10 nodes in the Kabbalah Tree of Life have 22 connecting lines corresponding to the number of letters in the Hebrew alphabet. Kabbalists believe the Tree of Life is a map of how the universe came into being and the underlying nature of reality. The idea of a tree of life with different spheres of reality dates back to the 9th century Assyria, and there is a link between the tree of life and the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. The tree of life may also symbolize the need for spiritual roots, growth, and wisdom. Trees magically pull mass out of the air as they grow, thanks to the carbon they acquire from the carbon dioxide they take in, before releasing back oxygen. Often, spirituality is an area of our lives we think we don't have time for. What is your spiritual compass? Do you want to learn more and increase your spiritual intelligence? Imagine yourself sitting down under a tree like Buddha did and meditating for a prolonged duration. As you breathe in, visualize yourself taking in the oxygen the tree is releasing, and as you exhale carbon dioxide, imagine the tree soaking it up before returning refreshing oxygen to you. In essence, you and the tree complement each other, each breathing life into the other. So that's interesting. And we did have some synchronicity, like last night when I was doing readings, I was talking about using the tree of like your family tree or your history, because right now is a good time to be connecting with your ancestors or honoring your ancestors. It's that time of year where it's like enhanced. It's always a good idea to be doing anyways, but right now it is enhanced. And like looking at your family tree and the history of your family can also expand your awareness and help you to grow and to, learn things or see things that you might be wanting to avoid in this lifetime or heal in this lifetime that may have been repetitive. Like I mentioned, my stepdad, my sister's dad, she had looked up and like different people and different times, like they probably didn't even fucking know each other, all died by being hit by lightning. Like that's kind of crazy. That's something you want to look at and make sure that, we clear that up so that not every person in your family keeps dying by being electrocuted by lightning. But those types of things you want to look into, and also on the spiritual sense. I feel like looking into history and like where things come from, the meaning of things, the names of things, can help you to expand your spiritual awareness and just kind of like contemplate on a deeper level. And also that's more of that like transmutation, alchemy, imagining yourself as breathing life out and receiving life back in with the things that are in our reality, with the elements that are around us, with the air, with the trees, with the people, with the water and the earth. Synchronicities abound. Yes, they do. All right. So the final one that I kept feeling like there was a reason I was looking at. Where the hell is it now? Oh, it's the card. There's a card. It's the only one, but for some reason it was like sticking out at me like I was forgetting it. So I'm just going to see what that one says, and that will be the final synchronicity message for you. It's the Ace of Hearts, eroticism, romance, water, self-love, and spiritual awakening. And it's on page number 1, so that's interesting because it's like the first one. Number 1. Let's get back to the basics, to the number 1. The Ace of Hearts playing card equates to the Ace of Cups in the tarot, and both represent romance, erotica, love, and spiritual awakening. This symbol can also mean that you are ready for something new and can take a leap of faith. So while it's important to give to others, you also need time for yourself. Are you making enough time for self-care? Would you like more romance in your life? Those I feel like that's a reason that like culminates everything I was fucking talking about tonight. I'm like, yeah, giving to other people might seem like you're doing the right thing, but sometimes it's not the right thing because you actually hurt yourself and they don't really value you. So you don't really value you because you keep putting up with it. And that was for our past, like, you know, thinking we're doing good things, but we might not actually be doing good things with the pentagram. That was for our past and for our future. So it's like, I feel like this is the warning that you can be silly, willy, and do stupid things and repeat old lessons, or you can learn from those lessons and move on from those lessons and transmute and put the value on yourself. Take the leap of faith. And then for the present, it was all about going out and having fun and spontaneity, you know, and sexuality and birth and, you know, not panicking, because what you focus on is what you create and what you feel is what you create. So it can be chaos or creation. It's how you focus and it's how you manifest and how you expect things. So you may also think you're doing good by protecting yourself because there's so many bad people out there, right? So you're like, I'm going to do the good thing and protect myself and not mess with anybody. But you're also harming yourself because you're secluding yourself, and we are beings that are meant to connect with others and have emotional support and fun and live. We're here to live, not just hide. So again, synchronistic messages with that. Sometimes you need to take that risk. It's good to take that risk. Is there a risk that people might hurt you again? Yes, but only if you allow them to. You get to determine how long you entertain people and things that are happening, and also what they do doesn't reflect on you. That's a reflection of them, and they get to deal with that. But when you do start to see people who are doing those things, take the energy that they're sending your way, whether like if they are daggering you and hating on you, and turn it into that transmutation, that alchemy, to fill yourself up. Like, instead of reflecting things back or, you know, reversing things and being like, oh, I wish they get their karma, or anything sent to me I send back times 3. No, take it and amplify it and manifest with it. All of that hate that you're sending to me is bringing me abundance and love and support. All of the like ill wishes that you had for me is making me healthier and beautiful and more abundant. You know, take it and transmute it, because what you believe or what energy you give to it is what will manifest more of. And again, it is just a good time to go out and create and also deepen your spiritual awakening. So it says, imagine yourself lying on the riverbank in the summertime, perhaps reading something lighthearted or simply watching the clouds float by. You can hear the relaxing sounds of the water rushing past and the chirping of birds in the nearby trees. As you take a sip of a refreshingly cool water, you feel a wonderful sense of contentment and at ease in your own skin. So even just practicing, allowing yourself to come back into the moment and just enjoy the present moment, practicing imagining yourself feeling good and enjoying your experience here can attract more experiences that you will enjoy, rather than, because a lot of times we are in fear and we're anxious. Oh, what if this is bad, or I go there and it doesn't work out, or if I say something and I look silly. We can create those things by putting the expectations of them. So transcend it all, allow yourself to heal, and allow yourself to think about what it is that you want. What do you want to make time for? Where is your spiritual compass pointing you? And what do you want to learn more of to increase your spiritual intelligence and to increase your situational awareness and your emotional intelligence and your self ability to like regulate and not integrate into those things that have been not so good for you? Yes, transmute it. That will be good. So yeah, those are the synchronicity cards. I like them. I don't know what I was expecting. When I first got them, I was like so excited, but I was expecting something else. I think I need to make a synchronicity deck in my own way, because I was like, oh, when I saw them, I get it. It makes sense and it does work. I do like them now that I've used them. But at first I was very confused by them. I was like, what the hell do I do? I was like, what is this? Like, it's just a bunch of shit. And not all of them match. Like, not every single one will match up with another one. So when I first pulled them out, and I'm like, none of these symbols match each other. There's no synchronicity. What the hell is going on? You're just giving us random shit. But then I looked at it and was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, they're cool. I think I would probably, I don't know how I would do it. I have to think about it. But you can also just intuitively, like when you pull one, what one look stands out at you. The big anchor there is sticking out to me, but this, we were just on the anchor page a minute ago. But I've also had them where it's like other times it's like a little tiny one. Like this one, when I looked at that, the little alien stuck out to me. But there's bigger aliens. Oh my goodness, there's that alien. And then that alien. So maybe you need the alien message. The alien message and the anchor message. Yeah, because there's another anchor here. The alien, I'm always into the aliens because the aliens are my friends. But the anchor, I think, was page 2. Yep. Stability, grounding, strength, risk aversion, and moving on. Risk aversion is what I was just fucking talking about. Anchors stabilize ships when they reach a port. While an anchor is a great way to keep a vessel in one place, we must remember that it is only a temporary tool and that ships have to face the open seas once more and move on to the next port. The anchor symbolizes stability, fidelity, strength, and hope. Navigating the choppy seas of life can be exciting as well as taxing, so stress can sometimes be healthy. But we must ensure that we always make time to feel safe and unwind each day. That's what I was literally just saying. Do you feel anchored and grounded? You will be able to weather the storm ahead so long as you nourish your inner being. I was literally, everything that I just said was right there. Imagine that you are sailing a yacht along the coastline. As a storm approaches, you lower the anchor and find that your ship is stable. The storm rocks and rattles your ship, but eventually it passes. The clouds clear, and the sun emerges as you raise the anchor and sail on. So yeah, I do feel like it's important right now within the chaos energy that is present for people to be taking time out to relax and also time out to envision and visualize and expect better days. Okay, there's a lot of chaos on the planet. There's a lot of reasons to be like, oh no, but we really shouldn't add to that and expect things to like calm down, right? So allow yourself time to calm down, allow yourself to be anchored in the moment, and know that sometimes you do need to have those risks. We need to take that leap of faith. We need to go out and explore and not expect all of those negative outcomes that we may have manifested in the present or the past, because that's likely to enhance the chance of more. So the extraterrestrial is outsider, space, travel, identity, and shyness. Oh my god, and this is going, I remember this from earlier because it did the same fucking thing. Okay, whether or not extraterrestrial life exists, the concept of aliens remind us that our own identity is a construct and how we see the world is often biased based on our cultural upbringing. Just as the Europeans were aliens when they arrived in North America, outsiders have the potential to bring both knowledge and represent threat. Given the appropriate context, anyone can feel that they are an alien or an outsider. Do you feel like an alien or feel threatened by an outsider? What can you do to feel safer and learn from opportunities? So I was mentioning that earlier, like I always get nervous before I go live. I always got nervous on the first day of school. I've been wanting to like, change things and do things. And there's times in our lives where it's like, we are the alien to that because we've never done it. We get all, and the reason I was talking about that is because that's the reason why I have 2 different types of lives for the Patreon people. Because not everybody wants to do the Google Meet one where they're on camera and I can hear them and talk to them. Some people want that and some people don't want that, and I respect that and I get that. I've had other people in the past that would come to the Google ones or the Zoom ones and keep their camera off, or put the camera facing somewhere else. I've even had people who were embarrassed of their accent, that didn't want to be heard on their things, so they would like hide that. But it's like, those are the opportunities to step out of our comfort zone and to do things that we feel like an alien in or nervous about, that could be very helpful and good, because it's a totally different world when you can, like, I can hear you and you're not limited by a little tiny, like, live friggin', because I think if you want to comment on, like, one of my videos, you can write a whole friggin' novel, but if you want to comment here, it's, like, limited. And, again, the way that we type and write is a little bit different than the way that we speak. There's emphasis on certain words. Sometimes people say things to me and they're being sarcastic, but I don't always know that they're being sarcastic, or things get lost in translation. So that's an opportunity to have a better way. And we can look at this in many areas, like the first day of a work or the first day of anything, a first date. You're going to be scared. You're going to feel like an alien. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But like 100 days into your job or at the last day of school, you are all good. You've done what you needed to do. Like, you don't care anymore. First day of school, you're worried about what you're wearing. You gotta have your makeup right. You gotta have your book bag and all your stuff to write this and to write that and your whole list of things. But the last day, you're dragging your ass in. You have book covers hanging off. You might be wearing your pajamas at that point. You don't care anymore. You didn't bother to put makeup on. You just, bleh, you're there. Because you're more comfortable. You're not the alien there anymore. So take those opportunities. Like, and I keep being like given that synchronicity of going live on TikTok. But it's like, again, I'm not used to it. It's foreign to me. I feel like an alien over there. Everybody else over there doing it all the time, having a great time. And I keep getting like the signs that I should, the synchronicities. So it's like, they're telling me to do it, but I'm nervous. I feel like an alien. So, and I know it's a good opportunity. I know it will be good for me to do. It will help a lot. I know it will. But I self-sabotage and hold myself back because I feel like nervous about it. Shyness, okay? The shyness there. So imagine that you are only 6 years old and your parents take you to the birthday party of one of your friends, of one of their friends' children. You don't know anyone there and you are shy at first. You see several kids playing in a bouncy castle. You gather the courage to join them and bounce around joyfully while laughing with the other kids. Your fears have gone and you now feel accepted as one of them. So sometimes it's just like that first initial thing. It's that first moment, that first step that we've got to take that feels like, oh my God. But once we do it, it's good. And I've had that in a lot of ways in my life. I'm like, when I started my Etsy shop, I was like, why the fuck didn't I do this like so long ago? Because it made things so much easier and it did really, really well. And it was like, oh my God. Same thing with other stuff. Why didn't I do this earlier? I should have done that. But we do it at the right time too. So don't dwell on what you've missed for opportunities in the past. But also take those, like I said, in the past, right? We might have thought we're doing the good thing by protecting ourselves and feeling like I'm nervous about that, I'm shy, I'm going to hold back. Don't repeat those things in this chapter, okay? Presently, we need to make sure that we're pushing ourselves out of the comfort zone because our comfort zone may be hindering us. We might feel like we're protecting ourselves or keeping ourselves from making a fool of ourselves because those are the things that like really fuck with us too. Everybody's afraid of being made fun of. Everybody's afraid of being canceled or they don't think that people are going to like them or that anybody gets them. And it's just all natural bullshit inside of us. But if we can push past that, we will find the people that also feel that way. They also feel that way. They believe that too about themselves. And when you speak about it and talk about it or do something, you will find, oh my God, me too's. And that makes you feel less alone and less like an alien. Do you think it was easy for me to come out here and be like, hey guys, let's talk about starseeds and all of the different kinds of starseeds? When I first woke up, that was another one of those times where I identified as an alien, but also like didn't want anybody to know that I was like thinking those ways or feeling those ways or having all of that stuff happening to me that made me think that and feel that and discover all of this. You know, it was like the starseed closet. Eventually, I got over it and put myself out there, and it changed in a very good way. But it was intimidating and nervous, for sure. And I'm very grateful that, for the most part, everybody that comes around is nice and supportive. And usually, I find the right frequency of people to come around, and they resonate with the messages, and they're there for a reason. We hit the target. So success, perfection, targets, fixation, pressure. Hitting the bullseye symbolizes success, focus, and the culmination of a great deal of practice. Dreaming about a bull's eye can also mean that you are feeling pressure to be perfect. The downside of being able to hit a target perfectly is that it tends to require tunnel vision, and therefore you may have lost sight of the periphery. There is a certain balance in life that is required for success. If you want something too badly, you tend to choke at the critical moments. But if you don't want it enough, you won't be motivated. Are you too focused on your goals or not focused enough? How can you find the middle path? Imagine a target that is about 100 meters or 328 feet away. You can barely see the bullseye, but you can feel it somewhere. You take aim with confidence. No, you take aim with a bow and arrow. You take aim with a bow and arrow and shoot slightly upward due to gravity in the full confidence that you will hit the target. You take an in-breath, and after fully exhaling, you hold your breath and release the arrow. You hear a swoosh, and next you see the arrow hitting the target. So we want to find that balance between things too, because that is what I was saying again with the chaos of creation. If you're too focused on an outcome, like people get like really obsessive about a certain person. They want to manifest a certain person, and they obsess about it, and they think about it, and boop, boop, boop. And what do? They don't manifest that person because they're too fixated on the fact that that person's not there, and they want that person. So that's what they're emanating. Sometimes we do that in regards to other things in our lives. Like, I really want that. Like, my mom used to do it a lot with, like, stupid shit. Like, her favorite candy would never be in stock anywhere. They would, like, literally recall it and, like, take things out of stores that was, like, her favorite thing. She'd get on a kick of something that she really liked, and then she would be, like, obsessive about it, and they would, like, recall it and take it out and never have it again. Or when she would go to, like, food drive-ups, they always would mess up her stuff or, like, not give her something or fuck it up in some way. But I feel like it was because of her, like, being so, like, about it and, like, super, like, about it. So we want to find that, like, middle ground with those things, because we can make our dog pee on the bed that we don't want to happen, or we can make the day be nice and easy and hit the mark by finding that nice middle ground, by not being, like, hyper focused on a certain outcome and accepting what, like, and trusting and knowing, like, if it's something that should happen, then it will happen. But me hyper fixating on it or trying too hard will often deter from receiving those outcomes. The lion is courage, strength, playful pride. The lion is the king of the beast. It is fierce and wise, a nocturnal hunter. The lion symbol may indicate that you are hiding something in your own mind. It reminds us that we should fight for what we believe in. The lion is able to overpower situations and win its lion's share. In astrology, a Leo is often described as being playful, fiery, passionate, and generous. The ancient Egyptians believed that lions were sacred animals, and the lioness goddess Sekhmet was widely worshipped. Sekhmet is a warrior goddess as well as a healer. What areas of your life do you need more strength for? How would you put this extra strength to good use? So I feel like they're talking about the Lyrans for sure right there, because the Lyrans are the lion beings, and the Lyrans were in the Galactic War. So it makes sense. Like, I knew that without them telling me this, but the way that they just worded that, like, makes it even make more sense. Because it's like, oh yeah, so, like, the lion goddess, she was the warrior goddess as well as a healer. That's literally what the Lyrans are, is healers that were also warriors, and they were depicted in ancient Egypt. Imagine that a friendly lion walks up to you and licks your face. It is affectionate and wishes to interact with you. Despite feeling frightened, you manage to set aside your fears and are delighted to find that you are able to pet the lion and play with it. You have made a friend who will be fiercely loyal to you. So that too is like what I was mentioning throughout this whole thing. The Lyrans are the instant manifestors. They're very, very good and powerful at manifesting. They can manifest amazing, powerful, crazy, awesome sauce things. But because of that power, there's a downside to it. If they're focused on fear, they're focused on lack, they're focused on the lion's going to eat me, they might manifest that. But if they're in their authority and they have that courage and that strength and they've got their mindset right, they will have the better outcomes. They can create the abundance, the prosperity, and have all the good outcomes that go along with that. So yes, those are the messages from the Synchronicity Oracle. And thank you guys very much. Like I said, I'm going to do some more lives. I'm going to be doing more lives on a regular basis, but I'm also going to be doing some on my TikTok. So if you have TikTok and you want to go over there, it's at Divine Essentials, and it's the full Divine and the full Essentials, and there's like 20,000 followers so that you don't end up following one of the scam accounts. And I will do more here too. And I did put out some new offers on my Etsy shop. I have like a, what do you call it? Thank you, Cheryl. I have a thing, like a mix. It's like a ritual and a reading. So I will customize a ritual for you, and you can choose the intentions. Like if you just tell me what your intentions are. I put down love, money, protection, but you could do all three or incorporate other things. And what I do is I get my candles and my herbs and my crystals and all my things, and I create like a candle magic ritual for you and record like, you know, a little bit of that. And then while it's burning, I bring out the cards and do like a 20-minute reading for you. And you can either ask me specific questions about anything or just be open to receive the guidance that you need at that time. And so that's combined and it's on sale right now for $44. And then there's the cord cutting ones, and then there's just private readings on there now. I'm going to be getting rid of my website soon, so a lot of the stuff that's on my website has been transferring over to Etsy, but new things are coming to Etsy as well. I have a 12-pound Labradorite that's for sale. That's pretty nice. 12 freaking pounds. don't know if it's gonna... Can I catch this? Boop, 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 ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. I'm gonna have more crystals for sale too. I think I'm gonna sell this one as well. My adaptogenic tantric twin. I paid over $200 for this, so I don't know. I've been feeling like I might sell it, but I have a lot of other tantric twins to sell that are smaller that won't be that expensive. And there's a range of crystals and things, but there's more that will be coming to the Etsy shop. I'm also gonna be making some like makeshift mesas, like little versions of them, because I have like 12 cloths. They're plain, but I was gonna fill them up with crystals and stuff and be like, here, you can have like a whole bundle of crystals, and whichever one you resonate with, you can take. Because I have so many crystals I need to get rid of that I'm like, I can't like sell them one by one. Like there's way too many to be like, okay, so like here's the first one. Like there's massive amounts. Those are just some of the ones that are here. There's a bunch of tantric twins right there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tantric twins. And then there's like a bunch of other things downstairs in the drawers. There's drawers over there. There's drawers everywhere. But I'm going to be trying to... Maybe I'll do a live sale with them. I don't know. That's another one of those things. It's like I hold back because I get nervous. I did a live sale one time. It was like the first time I had done it. And I made like $1,000 in that first live sale on my Facebook business page. But I get like overwhelmed about it. I'm like, I don't know. It's all of the messages that came through tonight. So I need to take my own advice and jump through that like scariness. So thank you guys very much for being here. 111 on the clock. I will see you very soon. I'll have more. I'm going to do the Reiki 2. I'm going to be doing the crystal extraction for the members of Patreon. They get that for free in the 1111 tier. But I will also add a video like download to Etsy so other people can do that extraction. And then there's going to be another activation for taking all of this chaos energy and transmuting into power. And there's other things. But I will be back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In Renee. Namaste.